I want to talk with you about today is something called an MVP. And I'm sure if you are in business, you have probably heard of an MVP. And you may even think you've done one. But I'm here to tell you that most of the people who think they haven't. And most of the ones that I've seen, I have never seen a corporation ever do one. Like really do an MVP. Let me just get into it before I get upset. I was working with I've worked with several different companies who use the term all the time because it's a hip term. It's a term that comes from the lean startup, and it means minimally viable product. It's part of the lean startup concept. Lean startup is a concept developed by Eric Ries that really is how do you create an idea, validate that idea, incubate it a little bit, and get it ready to become a product that then can be developed using typically an agile product development approach. But the concept is just wildly misunderstood. Most of the time when I go to a corporation, mostly big companies, they already know what they want to do. They believe they've got it right already, and they're not really interested in listening to other opinions. They're not interested in hearing whether their idea is good or not. They just want you to build the damn thing. So, and I'm not kidding. I mean, these are companies that spend tens of thousands of dollars to bring me in and other of my cohorts to help them develop products that they haven't validated whether anybody wants them or not. And the whole point of an MVP, a minimally viable product, is to validate what it is the market wants. So what is it? When should you use it? I'm going to define what it is, what it isn't. What it is a test of a concept. It's just a test. So don't think of it like it's an actual product, right? It is a test. It is not an actual product. It is a way to get feedback on your idea. You've got some kind of idea that you've developed. Maybe you've been doing some ideating through the some other processes that get you to ideation, and you've been coming up with ideas, and you want to get some feedback on it. Great. But it's not a way of implementing your version 1.0 of your product. Every time I have seen this, I don't get passionate about this. Every time that I've seen this done, I have seen companies that say, well, here's all the features that we're going to have in the final product. They already know. They already know. These are all the features, and this is the smallest set of them that we think we can deliver to our customer and have them be happy and delighted in buying from us. You know, so they'll start buying our product from us. That is freaking not the point of an MVP. Not at all. The point of an MVP is to test a concept, to get some feedback, and really one of the most important things is to test the riskiest part of your idea. It is not your actual product. It is not version 1.0. And it is not scalable. As a matter of fact, most of the time, a true MVP is thrown out. You throw out the work that you did to create that MVP. It's trash, garbage. You throw it away. Done. Because it's not good enough. It's not scalable. Let's talk about that. When should you use an MVP, and what should you use it for? So an MVP, a test, a minimum test. The idea is I want to get feedback as fast as I freaking can so that I can find out if my idea makes any sense. Some of us are so, I include myself in this. I have done the same thing. Stupidly, maybe that's why I'm so passionate about it. I have believed that I know what was right. and I knew what my customer needed, and therefore I just built it. I think the people who are better at understanding and delivering an MVP are, I'm going to sound ageist here, but I think they're people who are young of mind, that have a childlike mindset. I think that's the concept, where you don't think you know it all, and you know that you're always learning. Because an MVP is when you have no idea what your product is, and you're really not completely sold on, well, it has to be this, or it has to be that, or it has to be the other thing. That's the best time to be doing an MVP, because you may throw your idea out there and it may come back and people hate it. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay saying, well, I tested it, the market hated it, so we're going to do something else. That's called the concept of pivot or persevere. Do we keep going and keep testing and keep driving down this road, or do we pivot? Do we take this and do something else with it? It's really important to use if there's great risk or cost associated with actually building something, right? I'm not sure if it was cheap to build something, then build it, right? That's easy. That becomes an MVP because it's just so cheap and quick, and there's no reason to worry about it. But if there's substantial cost, investment, or risk, technological risk, if the technology is unproven, that's the fourth bullet point there, or if you don't know if there's any demand for your product, then that's a great time to do an MVP, or a great purpose for an MVP. The time you do an MVP is before you have a plan to create anything. An MVP is pre-plan. It is pre-idea. It exists before your product exists. I call it pre-product. I have some stickies over here where I was working this, thinking some of this through last night and going over it in my head. I think I'm actually going to teach a full class on building an MVP, because it's a great way to test your idea for your business without spending a whole bunch of money and without investing a whole bunch of time. So it's a great way to get ideas out there. So let's keep going. There's a bunch of different MVP models, and somebody's just made up, there's just 7 of them that I know of, right? Or 8 really. But you could make up a new one. The idea is it's a simple, quick, and dirty way of testing something out before you actually build it. So the first bullet point here is actually 2. The what they call the concierge, or the manual first, or the Wizard of Oz. Zappos built the Wizard of Oz version. So Zappos, when they first started, I told this story on a different Facebook Live. When they started, they literally took pictures of shoes at the store downtown and posted them on their own website. Here's a picture of the Zappos website, and they literally posted pictures of the shoes from the store downtown. And when people would buy the shoes, they would manually walk down to the store downtown, buy the shoes, take them back to the post office, and mail them. Not scalable. It's a throwaway model, but the idea was to prove that the demand was there, right? When should you do it? To prove demand, right? Another version of an MVP is just doing an explainer video. Dropbox did that. All they did was do this video. If you go on YouTube and type in Dropbox MVP video, you'll find various different versions of this. And all it is an explanation of what Dropbox could do if it was built. It wasn't built at the time. They didn't have it. But they went out and they sold the idea to multiple large companies who were able to fund the building of Dropbox. And now, Lord only knows how many people use it. I know I do. Another good one is Buffer. So Buffer, what they did was they built a 3-page website. 3-page website. So this first page here said something I forget what it said exactly. Something about getting hey, wouldn't it be great if your tweets were automated? So you think up your tweets, load them into Buffer, let us do the rest, I think is what those 3 bullets were. And then here the green button said, tell me more. There are plans and pricing. You clicked over here for plans and pricing. There they were. You clicked on a plan or price, and it took you to this page which said, oh, you caught us before we were ready. We're putting the final touches on Buffer, but it should be ready really soon. If you'd like to know more or like to be notified when it's ready, please enter your email here. Email slot button. Now they're developing an email list. Get 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 emails on your list. You know, you've got a market, right? That is what it is. Training. The course that I'm doing is a great way of testing a market. If I had put together a training course on leadership for middle managers and put it out there and tested it to see if anybody would go for it, I would have been able to see that nobody was going for it. But I spent over a year trying to get sales on my high-end consulting fees and all that stupidity. And I should have done this, right? I could have used any one of these models. Well, not any one of these. Training is really best for testing out services. I could have used the landing page possibly. Actually, I am using the landing page model right now, actually. If you go to my LinkedIn page and you look at my current activities, go back a couple of posts, you'll see that I posted something about a Scrum Master mastermind group. I don't have one right now, but I'm collecting names of people who might be interested in having one. When I get a couple hundred names on that list or 1,000 names on that list, then I'll start a mastermind group from it. But I'm not going to do it before they're ready, right? I'm MVPing that, seeing if it'll work. All right. So in summary, what the heck is it? It is pre-product. Please hear me when I say that. It is the testing of a hypothesis. I have a hypothesis. I believe that people will want this, and so I'm going to test. And the real trick is the 3rd bullet. It is knowing when to persevere, keep going, keep testing. Maybe not enough people have heard about it. Maybe not enough people have seen it. Maybe I didn't explain it correctly. I personally, for that year of trying to sell leadership coaching to middle managers, always was blaming myself and my own copywriting abilities and that. And I don't think that was it. I think that there's just not really a demand on the middle management for that. So I should have pivoted, but I persevered. So the trick is knowing when to pivot and when to persevere, and that's where you want to make sure you've got good counselors and people who you're talking to, peers that you can bounce the ideas off of, et cetera, et cetera. And did I mention that it is pre-product? Pre-product? It's pre-product, by the way. All MVPs are pre-product. What most people call an MVP, I'll leave you with this, is they're the people that say, well, we have all these things are what this product is, and this is our, they say, MVP. No, we used to have a term for that, and it's kind of gone by the wayside. It's called an MMF, minimally marketable feature set. Makes sense, yes? Product, minimally marketable feature set. This is the feature set of the actual product that is the minimum that I can market. It's not a hypothesis test. It's not trying to prove out a technology. It's not trying to see if there's demand for it. It is just the minimum that I'm going to start marketing. So if that's what you want, you're not doing an MVP. If you're smart, you'll do an MVP. And one way to do an MVP is to I'm putting out there if you go to bit.ly/7D course, you can find out more about it there. This has been an 18-minute. Oh, I need to be shorter on my Facebook Lives. I ramble too long. I love you all. If you stayed for the whole thing, thank you. I appreciate you. And leave me a comment down below. Yeah. Talk to you soon. Bye.